Everyone has a unique gift, and Mike, the creator of the 1NELife podcast, believes most people don't know how to use their gifts or what they are. Mike wants you to see things from a different perspective and be true to yourself. The 1NELife podcast, it inspires, motivates, and creates positive energy, love, and compassion to all communities. We only have one life to live. Be yourself and live your truth. Add the 1NELife podcast to your playlist. That's the number 1NELife. Available on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, and your favorite podcast platform.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the 1NELife podcast. I am Mike M.I.C. Reed. Here we talk about positive psychology while taking care of your well-being and telling your story, because everyone has an amazing story. In studio today, we got my boy Carlos Johnson, the founder of Lions Basketball Academy, and so much more. You do clinics as well, right?
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, you do it all, man. He's also a student mentor with me over here in Lancaster in the school districts.
Sir.
And we're going to get into it all, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Glad to be here.
Thank you, man. So, don't be. I already said this earlier. I just told you this 5 minutes ago. Don't be humble. Carlos is not humble, you guys. A few days ago, we had some of our executives at one of our schools, and they was asking Carlos questions, and Carlos got so humble. And it's like, dude, stop being humble. But today's we on spring break.
Yes, sir.
And I wanted you on here, man, because I've known you for a couple of months now. Mm-hmm. You're a new mentor to our program, and you've done an amazing job. I want to say that off the top. Mm-hmm. You're doing an amazing job. And I just noticed, like, the passion you put into these kids. Mm-hmm. And like I said, the other day, we had some of our executives meet us at one of the schools, and it was kind of showing them what we do. And you mentioned something to them. And you said you was these kids, and that's why you do it.
Yeah.
I want you to elaborate more on it.
Yeah. I remember when I was coming up back in my home country in Panama, when I was about 13 years old, you know, I was in a moment of my life where I had to make some really serious decision. Mm-hmm. You know, grew up in my neighborhood where, you know, it's a typical teen, you know, that a lot of kids, teenagers, they go through drugs, all kinds of stuff, you know. I knew that that if I wanted to get out of there, you know, that something had to happen in my life. It has to be something different. So I was very, very grateful that, or fortunate that there was some great positive people that came into my life. Mm. And I just grab a hold of that, you know. Every advice, every moment that I was able to be around them, you know, I knew that I needed to take those little nuggets that they were throwing at me. So yeah, I was one of those kids. So I was going the wrong path, and yeah.
How old was you when you said you realized that? When you realized, like, you know what, something has to change?
It was around 10 or 11.
Okay.
10 or 11, because I was exposed to a lot of things. Yeah. Just coming from Panama, you know, a Latino country, we grew up with a lot of, there was no boundaries, you know, no boundaries. We saw a lot, we did a lot, and we were able to experience a lot.
Yeah, because out there, it's not like out here in the States.
At all, not at all.
Out there is more in your face.
Yes, sir.
I don't care. Like, it's there. Like, here, a lot of, things happen here too, but it's more behind the scenes.
Right.
You know, people hide from it. But out there, they just really just do it right there in your face.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they do. And I knew that, you know, for me, if I wanted to see a change, if I wanted to see something different, if I wanted to explore the world, you know, it was necessary for me to get these advices and also, like, get around other people. Right. You know, so, and that's where, you probably ask me later, but that's where the whole dream about coming to America, you know, started.
And I do want to talk about it. You kind of going ahead of me, Carlos, but it's okay. Obviously, he's not being humble today. I like to mess with Carlos, man. Me and him, we work together, and we have a great time. we both share equal passion about working with these kids, and because I think we both was kind of raised the same. I don't know a lot of your story, and that's and I kind of wanted to save it for here, because I was the same. I grew up in gang territory in South Central LA, and I'm pretty sure it's a lot different in Panama than it is here. But even like when I was I don't know, for people that never traveled outside of the country to different countries and experienced that. It is like, I don't even know how to put it in words, but it's real. Like the stuff you see on TV and in movies. Like I was just in the DR a few weeks ago, and people were just walking around the street with machetes, like it ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? They're just walking down the street. I was on the beach, and this guy was just walking along the beach with a machete in his hand. I don't know why he had a machete in his hand at the beach. Like, what are you gonna chop at the beach? Like. You know what I'm saying? But he's just strolling down the beach with a big old machete in his hand. And I was just like, wow. And it was normal. Like, nobody said anything to him. It was just like, that's what they do. And I saw that throughout the time that I was there. A lot of people were just walking up and down the street with machetes in their hands. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. That's how it is in Panama too, man. I mean, hopefully, you're at the right place at the right time. And you don't have anything, against some people. But yeah, that's the type of stuff, the type of life that I grew up around. So yeah.
Yeah, and then I was in their downtown area. I guess that's what we call their downtown area. And we stopped at this one store, and we was all on ATVs, because over there they get around in motorcycles and ATVs. They have cars and trucks and all that, but like 90% of everybody driving ATVs and motorcycles. And so we was all in the parking lot on our ATVs, drinking a little something, and then I turned around and this dude with this big old AK, like just chilling, and I'm like, damn, like you're not used to seeing that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Scared the shit out of me, because I was like, why is this dude got an AK just chilling right here? And he was just holding it like, come fuck with me, dude. Like,
it was nothing.
There was nothing, like the day in the life, But I get it, man. I think I was around 12 when I think I was at the park one day with a bunch of the homies, and I was just like, sort of, kind of like you, man. I was like, this ain't for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the gang activity and all that. Even though like for a few years, I had to do what I do, and I'm not ashamed of it. I've been almost since I was 14. So I left my house when I was 14. But at 12 is when I really started thinking like, this ain't for me, right? So I think at 14, 15, maybe even like 16 or 17, is when I was 14, I went on my own. I was homeless for a couple of years, and because I didn't want to do a lot of stuff, so I think it was like when I was turned like 17 or even 16, somewhere around there, I was like, I gotta do what I gotta do to survive. Right. The homeless part wasn't the move. Like I didn't want to continue to be homeless, so I ended up selling drugs. I was like, I went back to the neighborhood, and I got with a couple of the older homies, and I started selling drugs. But I had a plan. Right. Like my plan was just to get out. Right. And I did. Like I got older. I did it for a couple of years. I was able to get an apartment, a car. I did it until I had enough money to where, okay, I can go out, take my time, find a job, do something, or do something else with my life, besides doing that. So I was smart at a young age. I'll be honest with you. I don't know where the smartness came from, to be honest with you. I just knew at a young age, like, this ain't it. And I knew I had to do what I had to do to survive. So that's why I always tell people, I don't knock nobody's hustle.
Exactly, yeah.
As long as you ain't hurting nobody, killing nobody, like I didn't do none of that. I didn't hurt nobody. I know you can like raise the point where you sold drugs to people. You know what I'm saying? But it's just a different mentality, right? But I wasn't like robbing people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't doing anything vicious. Like I wasn't robbing people, stealing people's money. I didn't go robbing stores or anything like that. I didn't do any of that. I wanted to just make a quick buck, and survive and get out. And that's what I did. I made enough money and I got out, and I never looked back. Right. To this day, I never look back. I mean, I got people that every now and then I say what's up to because they was close to me. a lot of the older homies, which was my sister's friends, you know, they all like you, even though they was in that lifestyle, that gang lifestyle, they knew it wasn't for me.
Right.
So they protected me, right? Even doing the drugs, like they protected me. They're like, just do this, you know. They made it kind of easy for me because they just knew I just wanted to make money and bounce. Right. So they protected me. They would always give me advice saying, hey, this ain't your world, you know, don't get involved, blah, 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 you know. So I had older people that looked out after me. And I think this one guy set me down one day. And I remember the conversation. I remember everything, like the weather, where I was, where I sat, you know, the spot I actually sat in, everything. Wow. And he had a conversation with me about, dude, like I used to be a little kid that just used to run his mouth, right? And one day he just kind of pulled me out of this conversation because there was a bunch of people. A lot of people hung out in front of my house, right, because of my sister. And he pulled me out of the conversation. And he was like, dude, just sit right here. And I was like, what? And he was like, just listen. He was like, you're in the middle of this conversation and you're just talking, but you're not even listening. You're like, you don't even know what's going on. He's like, you're just talking. He's like, just listen. He's like, listening is very powerful. He's like, listen and observe and just watch. And we just had this conversation and I did that. And for some reason, that just stuck with me my whole life. And it made me realize that, yeah, man, if you just sit back, not react. I was like, when I'm in schools and we teach these kids, I mean, you've heard me multiple times tell these kids, stop reacting.
Right.
Just stop reacting. It doesn't matter what someone does. What someone does doesn't affect you. If it affects you, you are allowing it to affect you.
Right.
But you can just sit back and just listen and observe and choose when to jump in or not. So that always stuck with me, and I've always chose to jump in when I wanted to. That's why, like, I tease people a lot when I tell people, like, I'm about 90% always right. But it's a theory to that. But think about it this way.
Yeah, it's funny because you really say that. Yeah,
I do. I've said that to you guys. 90% I'm always right. Because I never jump into a conversation that I have no idea what it's about. Right? Like, for instance, if you was talking about how to build airplanes, I don't know the first thing about building airplanes. Why would I jump? I probably have an opinion about it, right? But why would I jump in that conversation? Again,
with no knowledge.
It's choosing when to jump in and not. So I do not jump into conversations that I have no clue about. Regardless if I have an opinion or not, I will not jump in those conversations. Politics. I don't like politics. Of course I have an opinion. Everybody does.
Right.
I never jump into politics conversations. I'm always just like, I don't want to say that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know the full story. I'm not on that side of it.
Right.
I'm not in Washington. I don't know how to read, you know, these bills that they passing. Because honestly, these bills that they're passing, people just see like the main headline of it, and they don't understand there's a bunch of things attached to that that affects certain things. Right. I don't know any of that. I know that there's things attached to it, right? But I don't know the specifics of it, right? So, like, for instance, there's the bill now about taking away or what is it, tearing down the Department of Education, right? Well, I'm not going to jump into conversation about that because I don't know what the bill is or what is the details or the bullet points of it. So I was talking to somebody else about it, and they actually said it was I don't know. Again, I'm about to get into politics and I don't like it. But I'm just kind of giving an example.
Yeah.
Like, there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
Right? People got to look into it. And I'm not agreeing with it. I'm not saying they should. Like, the federal government is pretty much giving education back to the states.
Right.
I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. Maybe it's a good thing for certain states. Maybe it's a bad thing for other states. I don't know because I don't know the details of it. Right? But that's my point, though. I don't jump into things that I don't know. So I only jump into conversation that I know, that I know facts. So my percentage rate is 90%. It makes sense, right? It just makes sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, back on topic. But that's why I don't even know why I got on that topic. What was you talking about?
We were just talking, man. Yeah.
But the guy that
pulled
told
you
me
aside.
this, to save me if I listen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes I get ADHD. But yeah, he did that, right? And to this day, I saw him last year for the first time in 35 years.
Wow.
Yeah. It was my sister's birthday, and a lot of people was coming over to her house to, celebrate her birthday. And he happened to be in town, and he was there. And I told my sister, I said, I'm going to be there. But I didn't tell nobody else because she still live in the neighborhood, and I don't like when people...
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
When you saw him, you wanted to talk to him because you remember that conversation.
Yeah.
Wow.
I actually wanted to thank him and let him know that because of that conversation,
that moment,
like I turned out to be who I am today.
Wow.
He's a part of that. Like he's probably one of 4 male figures in my life that had conversations like that with me that made me who I am. That made me see things differently. I think he was the first.
Wow.
And I wanted to thank him because he grew up in gangs and, so all his life, he's in and out of prison and blah, blah, blah. But, for him to still be around and I haven't seen him in 35 years, I wanted him to know, like, dude, doesn't matter what you did in your life, you chose this path, whatever, but I want you to know you made an impact on me.
Wow.
And I appreciate that because he was that type of guy. And again, this is why I don't knock nobody's hustles.
Exactly.
Because you don't know why people are doing the things they do. Like he is straight up a good dude. Yeah, I'm not agreeing with his choices of being in a gang and doing certain things. But if you sat down and talked to him, like he really tried to help the youth in the neighborhood. Like he helped me. And I'm not the only one that he did that with. Like even though he made bad choices and decided to join a gang, he decided to do the right thing when he got older and was telling all the little ones, like, hey, don't do this. Because he had I think he had just did 10 years and he got out. He was telling all the young kids, hey, don't do this. Don't do it. Like, you don't want to be where I was. You know what I'm saying? So I respect that. You made a bad choice, but now look what you're doing now. So as he got older, he started making better decisions and he started really helping the youth. So I can appreciate that. And I wanted him to know, like, dude, you made an impact in my life. I don't know who else, but for me, you did.
Wow.
So that's why, like, even if, like, for us being student mentors, I was just having this conversation with you earlier. I literally did. I said, Carlos, what you're doing today.
Yeah, I remember that.
Not just a few hours ago. I literally told you what you're doing today. They might not get it. They might not get it next month, next semester, whatever. But in 5 or 10 years, there's going to be a kid that says, man, I remember my coach Carlos. He said this to me. Like, they're going to remember something.
Yeah.
Because I see it every day in you. Like, even like the other day when you was telling the executives, you said at the end of the day, you're always tired. Because you leave it all out there. And you do, and I see it. You come to work every day with this high energy. By the end of the day, you look exhausted because it is a lot. Because you soak in so much from all these kids, and I do too, and the rest of the team. But I can see it in you, like you be drained because I can see it throughout the day. You just pour into them, and that's gonna make a huge impact to a lot of kids when they get older. Even like I say, even if they don't get it right now, at some point in their life, they're gonna, like, if somebody asks them, hey, who inspired you when you were little? Guarantee you a few of them are going to be like, oh, Coach Carlos.
And I think, Mike, that's my motto. I want to give it up, and I'm very grateful to work with you guys, the team that I work with. Everything that we do, we give our all, and we inspire each other.
Yeah,
I seen you every single day too. You go out there and you giving everything that you have. So when I see that from a basketball or competitive perspective, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna give my all too, And that's what I love our team because we feed out of each other. And when one person is like, man, I'm tired today, the next person is like, okay, I got it. I'm gonna pick you up.
No, absolutely.
You know. So I really feel that those moments, I have moments like that, just like you. I have moments in my life where people have said things or just being there for me. And those moments, they have changed my life and molded me to the man that I am today. And I'm like, I gotta do the same thing for these kids, I have one friend, for example. There's one person that I remember back home. He was one of the people that helped me out, advised me, and helped me out with getting an opportunity to come to the U.S. with that basketball scholarship. And to this day, man, we got to talk, and sometimes when I go back home to Panama, we hang out, and I'm always like, hey, man, thank you so much, man. And I'm always trying to kind of like find a way to like to show my appreciation or to kind of like pay him back for what he has done. And he's like, hey, Carlos, don't worry about that, man. Just continue to pay it forward.
Right.
So I live with that idea of like, hey, the same thing that has been done to me, all the great moments, time, advices, whatever, I had to pay it forward to the next generation.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I tell people. Like, because I had a career in entertainment for 35 years, and about 5-6 years ago is when, right during the pandemic, actually, I decided to hang it up because that pandemic really opened my eyes. And even though I knew it, right? Because I like before the pandemic, I used to invest, in stocks and all that stuff. So I was and mind you, I was always self-employed. Like, even like now, working in the school and being a mentor, with you guys, we're still contracted. Like, we're not employees. Right. We're not employees. So technically, I still never had a 9-to-5 job. So, but I've always been contracted in everything that I do. But I've always put myself in a position to where I was ready in case something happened. You know what I mean? Like the pandemic. No one was prepared for that, right? And a lot of people lost a lot. Me, I was traveling. I was traveling. I'm being honest. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I've always fast forward think everything.
Right.
And not saying I'm perfect at it, because it's been times where I made a ton of money. I lost it. And it's when I was younger. Made a ton of money again, lost again. I had to learn how to do this. So it's not like I always knew this, right? I had to learn how to do it. So I've lost a lot of money twice, but I was able to get that's why I'm a hustler. Like I tell you, I'm a straight up hustler. Like, I can lose. I don't like to lose things, but if I had to, I would.
Right.
Because I know how to take money. Like I was just telling a friend of mine the other day, because I'm still in the middle of my divorce. Not in the middle. I'm at the end of my divorce. And I was like, man, if I lose my house right now, like, because I'm at the point now where I just want to just be like, you can have everything. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not worth my well-being at this point. Yeah. You get to a point where nothing material is worth your well-being. And I really feel like that right now. Like, dude, I don't care. Like, you guys can have all this. I know, I'm confident in myself that I can start all over. Do I want to? No, because it is hard, right? But I know I have the ability to start all over, and I'm going to be all right. And another reason why I'm going to be all right is because I know God always got me.
Right.
1,000%. He always makes sure I have what I need. So I don't care about things. Not, I don't want to, and I hope it don't happen, but I'm okay with starting over. Like I know 100%. Yeah, it's gonna be a struggle, blah blah. But I've been doing it all my life, dude. Starting all over and still rising to the top. Yeah. So I don't mind. But anyways, let's get back to just doing what we love, man. Like it really is, a passion of mine to give back. Like I said, I've been on my own since I was 14. Doing the things I did, I was fortunate enough to have a mentor oh my God, I was so young when I had a mentor. I had a mentor when I was 18.
Wow.
and I didn't even know he was a mentor. Be honest with you, because he was actually a good friend of mine, somebody that I grew up with, and he's like a brother to me now, because he was so business minded that he taught me about business, and he taught me about he's the guy. So remember I told you there's a few people that said things to me. One of the things that he said to me that always stuck with me is never chase money, chase your passion. Money will always present itself. He's the guy that told me that. And he's the guy that, I don't know if I ever told you a story that my boy that I grew up with used to design for Air Jordan.
Yeah.
So him, so him. So he's the one that told me that. So he's been business minded and an entrepreneur since since we was like 18, 19. Like he started working for LA Gear, went to Skechers. He did a lot of stuff, and he ended up at Nike and ended up doing Air Jordan. Like he ended up actually, I think, if I'm correct, running Air Jordan, like the head designer, like running it. And Air Jordan had multiple designers, but he was one of them, and he was actually running it at one point to where he would be just calling Mike on the phone. And I'm like, "Hey, dude, you just pick up the phone and call Jordan?" And like,
That's crazy.
That is crazy,
That's
right?
crazy.
But it's true. Like we'd be just chilling there, and he'd be like, "Oh shit, hey, Mike, I got," he'd be doing shit. And
That's
like,
crazy.
You just literally picked up the phone and called Jordan. I'm like, who does that? You know what I mean? But it's cool. So he was a mentor of mine, and I didn't even know it until I got older, and like he gave me a lot of great advice. And this is why, and then my other guy, Claude, when I had my own graphic design company, which Dwayne helped me do this logo, the guy from Nike. So
That's tough.
He helped me do this logo. And so when I came up with this concept, he helped me with it. He was like, hey, you should do this, blah, blah, blah. So I've always had my business sense through him and Claude, who gave me my start in entertainment. Between them two, they told me about business, told me how to produce, just told me how to take an idea from A to Z all the way through, right? So this is why, like I'm a lead mentor, right? So not only, and I appreciate what you said about me about giving it all out, because I do, but I also feel like you guys do a lot more than me, but that's because I have a different role than you. But not only am I pulling it all out there for the students, but for you guys too. And I don't know if you remember me saying this in training one day that, I build these relationships with the principals and vice principals and the staff because that's our client. And not only I'm a mentor to the kids, but I also have to serve the client because that's why we're there, right? So I have to do all this stuff to make them happy. And like I told you guys in training that I do that because I want to make sure you guys have a job next year.
Right.
Because we're contracted every year. And if we don't get renewed next year, even though we are, like I know that for a fact. But if we don't, right, then I would take that as my fault because that falls on me, right? Because I didn't do a good job, making sure that the program was run correctly, making sure we're doing what we're supposed to do every day. So I would take that as a loss. Like I would be disappointed in myself. But that's why, I'm constantly, sometimes you see me spacing off because I'd have a million ideas in my head. Yeah. And I'd be like, dang, I want to talk to the principal about this or the vice principal because I want to make sure that, and I think we just had this conversation recently that if there's a situation at the school, I want to make sure that I put everything out there, that I try everything. Yeah. Before I say, you know what, there's nothing we could do no more. I don't ever want to say that because I feel like we can help everybody, even the staff. Like, so it's not even the students that we help. We help the teachers and the staff there too. But I don't want to say, it's nothing we can do. Like, I would feel bad, Like, I want to try everything. You never know it's going to work.
So, and you do every day. But I wanted to say this, and I'm sorry for interrupt you.
No.
That you said that we good at what we do, but it comes from the top. Okay, You're the lead mentor. I know you don't like taking no compliments, man.
No, I don't.
I know.
I don't.
But the one thing about you, Mike, you understand the heart, you know, and you never, you're good at giving ideas, creating things, and all that stuff. But also you understand the heart of the students, you know, and that's what.
Well, it's like how we both just said. We both was that kid. Right? Like we was. Like I was that kid. You was that kid. So I do understand them.
Yeah.
I know what they're going through. You know, I didn't grow up I grew up without a mom and a dad. Like I grew up in the streets. The streets raised me. You know, I have 7 brothers and sisters, and as much as I love them, you know, they did what they could, but they was young too. You know, and they did the best they can with what they had. But you know, and my grandmother, you know, she raised me, but she was older, so I left the house at 14 because at that point she was way up there in age, man. It was like,
Right.
I knew she couldn't handle a boy, especially like me, growing up in South Central. So I felt like I had to go out there on my own because I was like, I loved my grandmother so much for even taking me in, but I was like, I'm not gonna put this on her.
Yeah.
You know, again, for some reason, I don't know. I was smart at a young age, you know, and I was just like, I'm not gonna put that on her. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna do this on my own, and I'm gonna figure it out. That's why I'm such a creator, right? If I put my mind, I could do anything if I put my mind to it. I will figure it out. Some things I don't want to figure out because I know what it takes and what it involves, the details involved to like figure things out, to make things happen. But if you put me in a situation and my back is against the wall, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna get out of there, 100%. You know, but it's not like something that I want to do all the time. You know, but I do have that ability, and I'm grateful for that ability. God gave me that ability, man. Like I said earlier, He always gives me what I need.
Right.
So I always have faith. You know, again, the struggle is real. I struggle all the time. You know, I'm not ashamed to say it, but I struggle well. You know, the one thing I learned in positive psychology is that, you know, we all going to struggle no matter what. Life is going to be ups and downs. You know, there's some days where, you know, I just don't have it. And I'm honest with you guys. Like, yeah, dude, I ain't got it. You know, our teammate Fatima, she comes and be like, hey, guys, but we pick it up for her.
Right.
We be like, cool, just chill. We got you. And that's the one thing I love about our team is that we do that for each other.
Yeah.
You know, but I do that with everybody that's in my small circle too. I'm not ashamed to say that. Like I do that. And I like compliments, so I appreciate you saying that. I just don't like taking a lot of compliments. I just don't because it's not just me. Like you said, it's from the top. And so for me from the top, you know, it's our training manager, Manny. You know, he's always in my ear. Me and him have great conversations. You know, he's always telling me, you know, hey, Mike, we should do this. You know, like the one thing I love about how Manny's a manager and what makes him a great manager is he's positive in his criticism. Like, you know what I mean? Like constructive criticism. He knows how to deliver it without offending anybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I like that. A lot of people don't. A lot of people take on manager jobs and lead jobs and all this, and they want to be the boss, but they don't know how to deal with people. Right. They don't know how to uplift someone. Like even if someone did, you know, something bad, you know, most people don't know how to. They just scold them. Like we talk about that.
Yeah.
Like I don't like that. Like because there's a way to do things, right? Right. There's a way to approach people, and this is why you have to know your people. You know, you have to know students. Like you know, the one thing I'm always saying is like, I can play around with this student, but I know I can't play around with this student. Like I got to be careful what I do. Right. Like, you have to know people. You have to know people's personalities and what they will accept. You know, their sensitive areas. Because nowadays there's a lot of people that's sensitive.
It's a lot. Yeah,
so
a lot.
You gotta be careful what you say. But you know what? Like so, I mean, going back to Manny, like Manny, I think does a great job in that. So he inspires me. He inspires me to be better and do better. And like I said, me and him always talk, and he's always in my ear. And I know he gets tired of me calling him and sending him emails, but I do though, because I don't know everything. But I want to grow. Like I even told Manny, like I want to go far in this company. Like whenever I'm a part of something, it's like our principal. His motto is all in. Whenever I'm a part of something, best believe I'm going all in.
Right.
I'm not going to settle for just being down here. I'm going straight to the top because I want to help mold this company. I want to help. I want to help make decisions. I want to be able to take it to the next level. Like so, when I leave, I want somebody to be like, "Oh, dang, Mike was an asset. Mike, did great.
Yeah,
and that's just how I want to leave my legacy. I want people to know that, like how we just talking about. I left it all on the table.
Yeah,
like,
that's a mentality that I have too. That's why I'm always asking you questions. That's why.
No, and you are you're a Fatima.
We always on your ear. We always,
my
hey
ear.
Mike, what about this? What about that?
Yeah.
What if we're in this situation?
And
because
I love
want to
that.
learn.
Yeah, because it shows your growth. It shows that you want to learn, and it's not like, again, it goes both ways. It's people that do that, but people can nag you and bug you, right? But they're nagging and bugging you for like hidden agendas, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Like they really not wanting to learn, or you can see that they don't really have the passion for it.
Yeah.
But when someone has the passion for something, and you can see that, and they're asking you a million questions, like it's like, yeah, I love it when you guys are constantly asking me questions, like because I can see it in you guys, like I can see the passion in you guys, I can see where you guys are taking this,
Right.
and I love that. But I want to go back to, back to your younger age. Where do you think you wanting to do more? You said you was 10? Around 10?
Around yeah. Around 10 to 13.
Yeah, so where do you think that came from?
Wanting to do more.
Yeah, like you didn't want to just stay there. Like I know you mentioned earlier about, you had good people in your ear, right?
Yeah.
But that passion or just that different mindset, like was it from your parents or like was it just the people around you?
No, it wasn't. I'll be honest with you. I don't even know my real dad.
Okay.
So, and then my mom, she was always working, always busy. So the one that raised me was my grandmother.
Okay.
So, so me wanting to get out of there, and just see the world, do something different. I'll be honest with you. I think it started through one of my aunts. When I was younger, probably about 6, 7 years old, she came to the United States. And she brought a little toy. I always remember that. And one of those like looked like a bubble. You shake it.
Oh yeah.
And then like the confetti or whatever that is inside
the snow,
goes all over the place.
Yeah.
And the inside the bubble, the ball, whatever it was, there was a Statue of Liberty.
Okay.
And every time I used to shake that, I'm like, man, this is the U.S. This is how it is, So from that, a few years later, I started watching Fresh Prince.
Okay.
And once I saw the Fresh Prince, I was like, oh, this is how it is out there. Buildings, all kinds of stuff, people dressing nice, education, all that stuff. And I had that passion, man, I always wanted to go to the U.S. Well, we wanted to go to the U.S. So when I was about 8 to 10, I remember just seeing how my neighborhood changed from being all the place where all the kids go outside, play basketball, play soccer, to all the place where don't be outside after 7 p.m.
Right.
Or be careful because somebody might be drive by and start shooting everybody, So seeing all that and seeing the changes, I was like, you know what, man, like there's more than this.
Yeah.
And I gotta get out of here. So I started playing basketball a few years later, probably around when I was like 12. And I remember that in my neighborhood, there was like 2 or 3 guys who had an opportunity to come to the U.S. to play basketball on their high school scholarship to play. And I was like, you know what? This is the way. This is how I had to do it, So let's go. Let's start working towards that. And that's when I was like, if I want to stay alive, if I don't want to go to jail, if I want to have something that I can help my family, an education or whatever it is, I gotta get out of here.
Right. That's crazy. So, I mean, you got me thinking right now, because I just lost my thought. You telling that story, how did I lose my thought? This is sad. It's okay because I keep it real here. I don't edit. I don't edit none of the stuff out. This is the part where I show you guys I'm human. Like I forget things. It's okay. But that passion. So when you was that age, right? Because what we teaching these kids now, right, is whatever you want to be, it starts now.
Yeah.
Because right now that's the age where we at, right? And that's why is what I'm trying to teach the kids that we will be talking to every day is that, dude, that stuff starts now. Like your dream starts now.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to start thinking about the future. Like, what do you want to do? Like, so for you, it's like, I want to get to the United States. Right? So from that moment on, what was the struggles and the adversities for you to get here? And how did you get through it? And how did you make it a reality?
Man, I'm going to be straight up with you, man. So at that age and at that time when I knew what I wanted to do, I knew that I had to jump so many obstacles. And that was around the time as well one of the mentors, one of the important mentors that I have in my life, he came into my path, and the thing with this mentor, he loved God, man. So he used to talk to me about God and faith, and how God can make dreams come true, and I got a hold of that,
right? Because
I knew that my way out wasn't not only through hard work, faith and God. It needed to be on my path.
Right.
So I started playing basketball, and I'm telling you, I wasn't good. But I remember, like everybody else, they hear about God so many times on their life. And I remember, this is me. I'm telling you, me, from Carlos. I remember there was a time in my life where I was like, God, if you're real, like, start showing me. I'm tired of people coming to me. Always, because in those countries, they talk to you about everything, But people was coming to me and talking to me about God. And I said to myself, like, God, if you're real, man, you show me.
Yeah.
Show me. And then, I started to develop a passion, for the game. And at that age, I was like, okay, God, like, I want to give you my life. And I'm not kidding, man. I give him basketball, too. And when I gave him basketball, I said, God, I want to use basketball to meet other people and to help other people and tell people about you. Mike, I'm not kidding, man. God started opening doors for me.
Really?
And I went from not being the first option or being the guy that stay in a basketball court, that goes to a basketball court at 4 p.m. And at 8 p.m. when like there was not anybody else that wanted to play, they were like, hey, you kid, you can come in.
Right.
To just started doing better. And then I started playing for my country's junior national team, playing in little tournaments here and there.
So, because I want to pause because you touched on something about because a lot of kids feel like this, right? They do feel like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I'm never gonna make it, or whatever the reason is, because it's too many obstacles. Like you just said, you had to go through a lot of obstacles.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that and not to minimize because you come from a different country, and I'm pretty sure those obstacles are way more difficult than someone that's already out here, right? But even for people that's out here that are going through obstacles, and they're real obstacles, and people give up so easy, right? Because we live in a time and age now where everything's instant. Because of social media, because of our smartphones, like everything's instant, right? So when people don't make it in a day or two, it's like they want to give up. If they don't see instant results, they want to give up so quickly, especially like in business. I know a lot of small business owners, like they want to give up after a year or two. People don't realize it takes 3 to 5 years to build a business, like 3 to 5 years, seriously, like real time. Like, so when you don't see your results in the first year or even 2 years, people give up so much. But for the kids, you know, what would you say to them? Because you literally was that kid. You know, like you said, you sat there from 4 p.m. You didn't get picked 4 hours later to where there's nobody else, and it's like, all right, well, I guess it's you. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, one, how did that make you feel? And how did you get the strength and just the mindset to keep going? Like, man, I'm gonna keep going. I don't care. I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Because you didn't get depressed or
No.
or
Well, I did. I got to those moments. Yeah.
Let me rephrase that. You know, 'cause I don't know what you was feeling, but because I want to know. But yeah, did you get depressed? Did you feel defeated and you just wanted to give up?
Yeah, I did, and like, you know, I love having conversations with you. You know, we human.
Yeah.
You get to that point where you're like, hey man, forget this. You know, but right at that moment when you feel like, oh, forget this, you gotta remember like, I have swim so hard, to die at the shore.
Yeah.
Or how did I say? We got a saying that it's like for example, this what's going on with your drink. Your drink is described like this: like you in the ocean, okay, and through the whole process or time or whatever or season, whatever, you've been swimming, and sometimes you get to a point where you get so exhausted that you start first swimming with your head up, but when you start getting tired, your head goes down and then sideways, you know. And many times when you're swimming, you cannot see that in front of you there's an island. Yeah. You know, because you're just swimming. So it's like you have been swimming for so long. You don't know, you cannot see the island that is right in front of you, but I mean, just keep swimming, you know, because if without realizing, you can give up and you're right there at the shore, you know? So to me, I got moments when I remember I got depressed. I was like, wow, like this is not working. But to me, I knew that it was my way out. Yeah. I knew that it was my way out. And not only that, but I see my family living with my grandmother. You know, a lot of people don't know, man, but like you, I was a hustler when I was a kid. I used to sell plastic bags outside the stores. So let's say, like, for example, like think about people coming out of Walmart and they're coming with 4, 5, 6 bags on their hands, you know, and there was one kid out there with a big old plastic bag, like, hey man, buy me a plastic bag. It's gonna make everything more comfortable for you, you know, and you gotta walk about half a mile or whatever, or your car is over there. You know, I used to do those things and people used to make fun of me. Girls that I like on school, they used to make fun of me.
Because you're selling plastic bags.
Yeah, that I was doing that. But you know what? I chose to do that because I didn't want it to sell drugs. Because I didn't want it to do the other things still.
Yes, you're making me look bad right now. I chose the drug route.
You know? But it was also too because I knew the consequences. Right. I knew that if you go to jail out there, they throw you in jail and they throw the keys away.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna tell you a quick story. No, I'm gonna tell you a quick story. And I'm gonna tell you guys this because I don't ever think I told this story before. Mm-hmm. So I did the drug thing. I think I did it for like 2 years, and I never got caught. Right. I didn't do it out here in L.A. I did it in Ventura. Right. I had a nickname. No one knew my real name. No one knew nothing about me. Right. And that's why I did it way out there. Yeah. So I would drive. I would literally get in my car. I had a 77 Cutlass Supreme, white pearl. And it was actually my sister's boyfriend. But he went to jail for like 10 years, so it became my car. Anyway, so I drove the car to Ventura. On Thursday nights I would go. Right? And when I went out there, I had a girl. You gotta have a girl whenever you go out there. Right? Yeah. You gotta have your house, right? Where you lay your head and you cool, right? But then you have your other house where you do everything in. So I had my house with the girl, and so I would go out there on Thursday night, so I'm ready for Friday, Saturday, for the weekend, right? I did that for about almost 2 years. One day, I was driving, and it was a Thursday. And I had my cousin with me at this time because I was like, come on, man. Because he was like, at first he was like, I don't want to stay in no drug house. I was like, you're not going to stay in a drug house. I got another house out there. Like, that's where we're going to stay. So I go out there, and as soon as I crossed Ventura County line, I got lit up by the police. They pulled me over. And I look at my cousin, right? And mind you, he's not in this lifestyle. He's just, and I looked at him, I was like,
Oh, man.
dude, I looked at him, I was like, we're going to jail. And he looking at me like, why? Like, it's just a traffic stop. I said, no, I have a gun in the car.
Oh, my goodness.
I had a rock of cocaine like this, a brick of cocaine. That was in the door, right? So the cocaine was in the door. So, I took the panels off, put it in the door. Back then, like, police wasn't looking for stuff inside the door and all these traps, right? So then I had my gun in the dash, underneath the steering wheel, in the dash. I was like, dude, we're going to jail.
Oh, my God.
He panicked, and I was like, dude, just relax, just relax.
Oh, my gosh.
And so we got put over, and it was a lady CHP officer. I remember this. She walked up to the door, and she was like, they called me Quick out there. That was my nickname, Quick. So she walked up to the door. She's like, hey, Quick, how you doing? Immediately,
No
mind
way.
you, I've never got pulled over. I've never talked to a police officer out there before. Never had a ticket out there or anything. Like, immediately, I was like, okay, this is my last time out here. She knows my name. If she knows my name, she obviously knows what I'm doing out here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I just looked at her and I was like, I'm good. I was like, how you doing? And she was like, you know why I pulled you over? I said, nope. And she said, well, you do have a lady friend named Carmen, right? I was like, yeah. She was like, Carmen was in a fight last week, and she used your car, and she stabbed somebody. And we believe the knife is still in this car. So we need to search her vehicle. Whew. I said, oh. I mean, what can I do, right? I'm like, all right. I knew nothing about it. Carmen didn't tell me that shit.
Dang.
She didn't tell me. And I did let her use my car, so I do remember that. But she didn't tell me she stabbed somebody, right? So I was like, okay. So I got out the car. They put us on the curb. And that's when I looked at my cousin again. I was like, oh, yeah, we going to jail.
Oh.
I was like, we for sure going to jail. And he was like, are you serious, dude? So they got the lights. They looking all in the car. They searching the car, right? I don't know what they're going to do. Right? I didn't know if they was going to bring the canines, what. I was just like, dude, we're going to jail. I said, but just relax. I was like, it's what it is at this point. They searched the car. And then she called her for backup too. So it wasn't just her. It was some other, like another car came up behind her. So they searched the car for like a good 10 minutes, right? They searched everywhere. And they came back. And they was like, okay. They was talking amongst each other. And I'm thinking like, damn.
This is it.
No, they didn't find anything. They didn't find the gun. They didn't find the drugs.
Wow.
And I'm just like, damn. I'm like, are they really about to let me go? Because they stopped searching the car and they didn't pull it out. Because I know where everything is. And I'm just like, wow. And I looked at my cousin and I was like, damn, dude, we might be going home. Then the lady looked at me and she was like, after like a 5-minute conversation with the cop, she was like, I want to search the car one more time. She's like, I feel like I'm missing something. She's like, because I know him. I'm like, first of all.
When she said, I know him, she was referring to you.
Yeah, she was referring to me. Yeah. She knew what I was out there for. She knew my name. She knew what I was out there, and that's kind of one of the conversations we had. She was like, I know what you're out here for. And I know that. I was like, okay, cool. But in my mind, I know you still got to prove it.
Yeah.
You can have a theory.
Yeah.
But we've never had a run-in. So somebody may have told you what I was out here for, and I'm pretty sure they're accurate because you know my name.
Right.
Cool. You know why I'm out here. But you still got to prove it. So when she said she wants to search the car one more time, that's when I got really nervous because I was like, okay, she really does know who I am, what I'm doing out here, and she's not giving up. And I was like, fuck. And I looked at my cousin again. I was like, dude, she's gonna search this car one more time. And I'm on the curb, we're on the curb behind the car. So all four car doors are open, right? They got the lights, and this is the moment where I thought I was going to jail. She went on the floor on the driver's seat, because remember, that's where the gun is, underneath the dash with the light, and she was just looking. And lo and behold, she got out the car, came back to us, and she was just like, okay, you guys can go now. But she was like, quick, I'm watching you. And I was like, okay. I got in my car, made a U-turn, got back on the freeway, came home, and never went back out there again. I was like, there's no, and the guy I got my stuff with, I was like, here's your stuff. I was like, I'm never going back out there again because they know who I am. They know my name. It's like, never going. Like, that was God telling me, enough's enough.
Yeah.
It was like, enough's enough.
Yeah.
And for her to, like, I had a feeling she wasn't going to find the cocaine, right? Because it was in the door, in the panels. And she would literally had to rip my panels off.
To find it.
To find it. But, like, if she would have brought a dog and they would have sniffed it, they would have did it, right? But there was no canine on site, so I wasn't too worried about that. I was more worried about the gun and when she was underneath the dash looking. The only reason why she didn't see the gun is because it was a nickel-plated chrome 22. And it was nickel-plated, so it blended in with the metal. So she didn't see, she missed it.
Wow.
She missed it. Like, I don't know, honestly, I don't know how she missed it. It's not like I hit it. Like, it was just up there.
Wow.
Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, my
like,
goodness.
But no, I literally took that as a sign, and I was like, and I said, okay, God, I hear you. I promise you, I never went back out there. That day was the end of my drug career.
That's when
No, when I tell you I believe in God and I believe in signs, I was like, okay, cool, I hear you. I'm done. And I did.
Wow.
I never sold another drug in my life.
Wow.
That was my sign. Because I was like, if he's letting me go right here, I had enough money. Because I really did. Remember, my goal was to just make enough money.
Right. And get out of there.
Yeah. And so I had enough money. I was like, cool, I'm going to take this money and go do something. And that's what I did.
Wow.
So, yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's signs. Is again, it's me. I did what I had to do. I ain't embarrassed about it. You know, I'm a hustler. You know, I took the drug route. I wasn't like you. I wasn't creative. I wasn't creative back then. Like, I wish I would have sold bags, but out here it was just different. I wanted money quickly.
Yeah.
And I knew that I can do that quickly there. And it's not like I was in a drug house like all night selling, like people knock on the door. Like, they set it up to me to where it really was easy. Like, I was just really transporting it out there. You know, giving it to my girl. She would give it to a few people and, you know, let them do what they do.
Yeah.
She would bring me the money back. So it wasn't a lot, but just the mere fact that they knew who I was and they could have caught me in the transportation part of it.
Yeah.
And I could have been doing time.
Yeah.
How big it was.
And also, you never knew what took part on that conversation between both of them.
Yeah, and they could have set me up.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I immediately just got back on the freeway and went home. I was like, I'm not even going to her house to confront her.
Yeah.
I was like, so yeah, never talked to her, never done anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Moments, man.
Man, I tell you, like, I pay attention to moments. I do. But so yeah, man, so just talking about, you know, the struggles that we went through and you know, everything and like with you and, you know, the moment you had, you know, is like, yeah, you just gotta keep going, man, no matter what.
Yeah.
It's hard. It is hard. And these kids, again, I know how they feel. I know you know how they feel. Even to any adult that's listening, that's going through stuff, like, I still go through stuff, dude. To be honest, you know, just last year I had suicidal thoughts, you know.
Wow.
Because, and you know, I'm not ashamed to say it, because the older we get, like, especially like me, like, I get to a point where it's like, okay, I don't want to hustle no more. You know what I mean? Like, I know I have the ability to do it.
Yeah.
But like last year, I just went through so much. Like, I went through so much last year, dude. It's not even funny. Like, I really was like, oh, when I tell you about I'm cool with starting over, I am. But when you're talking about starting over from rock bottom, like last year, like I was literally almost homeless and didn't have a dime to my name.
Wow.
And that's just crazy to me because I've always made money. I've always had money. So for me to lose everything like that, like because I lost a lot, like in a week and a half period of time. That's why I try to tell people, like, dude, I don't care how much money you got, what you have, things could get taken away from you so fast.
Right away, yeah.
Right away, right? And that happened to me last year.
Wow.
And I was just like, I was really like, fuck. Like, there's no way at my age I'm starting from rock bottom like that with nothing. Like, I need something, you know what I'm saying? Like, I need something, like, you know, but for everything, house, car, everything, money, job, everything.
That's
like,
crazy.
It was just all gone in a week and a half, like, all gone. And I was just like, wow. So, but I'm back, you know. Still got my house. I don't have my car because I was in another accident. That's a whole other story. But I was just like, just mentally, I was drained. I was like, because I've been hustling since I was 14. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so like, do it again.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, no, but it's like, I'm always hustling. I'm always ahead of the game. That's a lot of work. You know, to stay ahead of the game and 5 steps ahead of everything. It's like, it's a lot of work. And I was just like mentally drained, like, dude, I'm done. Like, I don't want to do this no more. You know what I mean? Like, I was just done. Like, because I really did think about it. I was like, dude, I've been blessed. I had suicidal thoughts, but I didn't have I didn't have a plan, if that makes sense. And that's kind of one of the things when we talk about suicides, when we talk to people about suicide, we always ask, like one of the first questions we ask is, do you have a plan? You know, because if it's just a thought, I mean, the thoughts are bad, but if you have a plan, then
that's another level.
That's another level. Immediate action needs to be taken. Right. So I didn't have a plan. I was more like, I'm okay if I don't wake up tomorrow. I'm okay if today's my last day on this earth. I'm okay if I don't wake up tomorrow. I've been blessed. I've had a lot of shit. Whatever. I could die right now. I'm cool.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a plan to hurt myself. Even though in the moment I was like, I don't want to wake up tomorrow. Like I was to the point where I wanted to go to sleep and I didn't want to wake up, but I didn't have a plan. So those are the thoughts that was going through my mind.
Wow.
But because the struggle is real, you know, it is. You can feel defeated, and you know, because life is hard. I always say life is simple, not easy, because it's not easy. Life can be simple, but it's not easy. You know, you got to have the mindset. You have to have the will and the faith and all that to get through everything.
Exactly.
To push through it. Yeah, man, that's what I did, and I know you when you was that young age trying to push through everything. I know it wasn't easy for you, but you did it.
Yeah.
Now you're here, and now and now that I know like your story, I can see why you give it all to these kids. Like you give them hope.
Yeah.
I could tell. Like I watch you talking to the kids, and you give them hope. And you know, again, some of them might not see it right now, you know, but I think at some point it'll click. Like you're planting that seed, and I think that's the important thing. Like you're planting a lot of seeds in a lot of these boys' lives. And speaking about that, because there's not a lot of men that talk how we talk, as far as like being vulnerable, telling our stories, and giving back.
Yeah.
I wish there was more, and I'm actually working with a couple of people to get more men involved. I'm actually start a new segment on this show with men where we encourage boys, and I know today we actually had a meeting with our principal about doing a boys to men type of mentorship program with us as mentors, the students and the dads, and a couple other men that's part of our school, and meeting up, you know, once a month or so, or even bi-weekly, because it's important.
Yeah,
like, we have to, And I love this idea because it's a few of us, and we all come from different backgrounds. So it's not just the one kid who lives in this one environment, and he's only looking at it from that perspective. Now he has me. Now he has you from another country. He has, the principal and, the other people that's in our school that's going to be involved. We're all from different backgrounds. And I think it's important for these young men and these students to see that. Like, yeah, we've all been through the struggles.
Yeah.
But look at us now. Like, and if everybody tells their story, then hopefully these students can, grasp that and be like, okay, well, dang, if he did it, he did it. Sounds like they all went through something, but they all made it through it. Then I can do it. You know.
Yeah. We need that.
Yeah.
These kids, they need that. We don't need perfect men out there. We need men that are willing to, to share their struggles, where they come from, the experiences that they have, because these kids, this is what they're facing.
Yeah.
We see it every day. Kids that are facing, death from their family members, from a parent, bullying, all kinds of stuff every day, and they need men that will be willing to go out there and speak life into them and be like, hey, no, you can do it. You can fight for your dreams. You can accomplish your dreams. It's not going to be pretty at times. You're going to go and let me tell you, you're going to stumble a lot, but rise up, keep going forward, and yeah, man, that's what we're trying to do with these kids. You're trying to do it, I'm trying to do it, and I was so happy too after that conversation that we got with the principal today.
No, and the one thing that I think is going to be great about it is that these kids, they can not only we can relate to them because we was there, but they're going to relate to us.
Yes,
because we was there with them. Like we used to be that child, and I think that's the great thing about mentors is like when you can come from like we always talk about the heart and the passion, and you can tell your story, and because you was there, how it felt, how it was to get out, you knew how to push through it. Like that's important. Like I used to hate when I was a kid that listening to lectures in school. I did. I'll be honest with you. I hated lectures because it would always this guy dressed up in a suit, talking proper English. Like, dude, you're not from where I'm at. Like, you have no idea. And you could tell he was reading a script. And that's the thing about it.
Two different worlds.
Yeah, it's two different worlds. You're reading a script, and you talking properly, and you're reading the script properly, but I can tell you're reading the script. I can tell you've never been in a neighborhood like mine. So how can I relate to you? Why am I listening to you? Not to say what he's doing and saying is wrong, but people connect with people differently. Yeah. And I just can't connect with you. I know there's some kids out there you can connect with that probably understands your world. Right. But I'm not that kid. And that's why I like it, and I love it, that, we get to go into these schools, and schools are now more open to people that's been through things, and people that, there's one thing I love about my company. When I was talking to the executives the other day, they say they're not big on degrees and right. I don't care if you've been in the industry for not like the school industry for 20 years or something. I want to know where your heart is, where your passion is with these kids, because that's what's going to help them. Yeah, exactly. Being authentic, something that they can relate to, and you can really help them because you was there. Yeah, like that's what they look for. That's why I love the company that we with right now, because that's what they look for. Yeah, most companies aren't like that. And I know because I tried to work with a few companies, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're looking for someone with a bachelor degree that been there." It's like, first of all, people with bachelor degrees. Yeah. I'm not knocking education. I'm not. Right. But just certain things, like, it doesn't matter if you have a degree or not. Yeah. Like, you got to have the passion and the heart to reach these kids, because these kids are smart. Yeah. They know when you faking. Oh, they do. They know when you full of shit.
Yeah,
They'll call you on your bullshit real quick.
right away.
Like, especially these kids. These kids have no problem with saying you're full of shit.
Yeah, they can smell it.
Yeah. So, even like with us, like going into school, like even to this day, like I still get kids to say, stop talking to me. It's like, cool, because it's over 700 kids in the school, and I haven't had the opportunity to talk to each and every one of them. But the kids that do know us now, they respect us.
Oh, yeah.
They come to us now, and they listen to us.
Yeah.
So the kids, like I had a kid today telling me, stop talking to me. I've never dealt with him before. My first time dealing with him today, and he was like, dude, stop talking to me. Cool. He's on my radar now.
Right.
I'm going to get to him. I'm going to get to him when we get back from spring break. And me and him going to have a conversation. And that's typically what I do when a kid does that to me. I'm like, okay, cool. You don't know who I am. I'm just some guy that's just regular, and I'm in the schools now and trying to have a conversation with you, and you're like, who's this guy?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But typically, I've had that happen a couple of times, and I typically just, have a conversation with him and the principal or the vice principal, and they kind of explain who I am, and from there, it's some more respecting. Once they know that I'm not there to get them in trouble, and that they're never in trouble with me, then they respect me, and
they open up.
They open up more, because it's a mutual respect.
Yeah.
It's a mutual respect, but as you see, and you do it too, the kids are never in trouble with us, but we do set clear boundaries. Now, you cross those boundaries, I'm not going to suspend you, but the principal is.
Right, exactly.
Like, I don't tolerate disrespect. Now, I'm not going to, again, not discipline you. I'm not going to send you to detention or nothing like that. But if you cross the boundaries, there are consequences. And the principal is going to know about it. And that's where you're going to get in trouble. So you're still not in trouble with me. But you will you will have to answer to the consequences. So I always try to tell the kids, like, look, I get you're frustrated. You're mad. You ain't got to talk right now. But the one thing you're not going to do is disrespect me.
Yeah.
Like, watch your language around me, and we'll be going to be cool.
Right.
That's all I ask. Is just watch your language around me and just watch the disrespect. Because I'm not coming at you disrespectfully. I'm coming at you calmly, trying to help you. Like how we always tell them, like, dude, we're trying to help you.
Yeah.
Like, just have a conversation with us.
Yeah.
Typically, they calm down after a while, and they do have a conversation. But you do have a couple that, it takes a while, and they don't know who we are. But
yeah.
Again, it's planting the seed, and I get it. Some kids, there's so much chaos in their world.
Right.
Everybody's yelling at them, right? Because we don't do none of that. But a lot of people are yelling at them, and so they look at us. When you see another adult that just comes into the picture,
they think we're going to do the same.
They're automatically on defense, thinking, yeah, right, that we're going to do the same. And it's like, no, we're not. Like, get to know us. Like, have a conversation with us. And it's different.
Yeah.
But anyways, well, we're already over an hour. What's next for you?
What's next?
Well, before you say that.
Okay.
Because we didn't get into actually what you do with your clinic and your foundation, not your foundation, but your academy. Talk a little bit about that. And talk a little bit because, and I don't know if you can talk about this, but you work with the WNBA as well.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah. So last year I had the opportunity to work with the LA Sparks. I was one of the practice players for the LA Sparks. And those girls, they can hoop. That's what the first thing that people ask me. Can they hoop?
Oh, no.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can.
I know, and I told you that I used to go to the games years ago because I knew Lisa Leslie. Me and her went to the same church, so I had her. Me and my ex-wife at the time, like we was good friends with her. So we used to go to when the LA Sparks first came out. We used to go to all their games, and they be balling.
Yeah, they've been hooping. So last year I was working with them, and God's willing, this year too, gonna be working with them as well too. But what I do, I'm a basketball trainer, I got my own company, Lions Basketball Academy, and our main focus, for my basketball company is to develop, player development.
Okay.
We really focus on helping and developing, the kids' ability, we train about 4 to 5 days a week. And the reason why I do that is because I really believe in reps. The more reps you have, the less doubts you're gonna have to in the game. So that's what we do right now. And yeah.
You being humble again. All of a sudden, like an hour into it now, you being humble. Like you do a lot more. I mean, it's amazing what you do. First of all, because you just work with strictly kids, right?
Players all ages.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, all the way from like really young age, 5 years old, all the way to the pros. WNBA.
Okay.
And stuff. Yeah.
And that just shows the adversities you went through and the blessings you received because you just never gave up. You had a dream and you went after it. Now look, you're working with the WNBA. Like, that's dope. That's a huge accomplishment. Coming from Panama and saying you want to be in the United States and your first love was basketball, right? And you took it all the way to now. You're running your own clinics and working with the WNBA. That's amazing, dude. Congratulations on that.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
No, seriously. No, for real. Like, that's a huge accomplishment, man. And I know that experience and that passion, I can see you pouring it into these kids.
Yeah. I really believe a lot of these kids, they're into sports right now.
Yeah.
And sports is a great tool to teach these kids discipline, focus, character, and so many other great things. So why not to use sports to teach them those things?
Well, yeah, because they always said that sports is when you get a kid in sport, and that's why people always say put your kid in sport, because there's a lot of life lessons that you can learn in sports, right? Like you said, it's community because you build it with a team, right? There's so many other life lessons that you can learn in sports: discipline, character, patience. Learning how to lose. We talk about that. I've heard you say that to many kids, like, because these kids, because we do a basketball thing at the schools that we're in, and a lot of kids, they hate to lose. And I get it. Like, no one likes to lose. But I remember you telling one kid, like, hey, you got to learn to lose too.
Yeah. It's part of the game.
It's part of the game. It's part of life. Life is, again, struggling. What I was talking about earlier, life's ups and downs. We always going to have struggles. Just because we're older and you get older don't mean your struggles go away. Right,
exactly.
Always going to be, you're going to have those days. But you got to learn to lose. Yes. You got to learn to deal with struggle.
Yes.
You got to learn to push through those days. Because guess what? Nothing lasts forever. Pain don't last forever.
Yeah.
Winning don't last forever. So it's a balance.
Yeah.
So you have to learn that. That's what I love about sports. It really teaches you life lessons. So when people say put your kids into sports, like, they really going to learn life lessons.
Yeah, and do it early.
Yeah.
Do it early. That's the best time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Do it early. And that's why we tell kids now, like, it starts now.
Yeah, it starts now.
This is because you're in elementary right now. Don't mean you have, you can wait till you get out of high school and
right.
and all that and wait to start your life then, but you're missing out on so much.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're taking the harder path.
Yeah.
Because that's the path I took, be honest with you.
Yeah.
I left school early and I went down this hard path. I don't regret it because it made me who I am. It made me retire, like I was talking about earlier. It made me want to give back. It made me just want to just focus on turning around and lifting the next generation up. That's my passion now. That's all I want to do is just help. Like, I want to leave behind a legacy to where, yes, I was blessed. I've had a lot of money, had cars, houses, traveled, you know what I'm saying? But now I want to leave something back that means something. Right. You know what I mean? I want to help people, and it's not about the shine and like Jay-Z said, it's not about the shiny little things. Like, anybody can do that, right? But when you leave your legacy behind, like with your kids, and people remember that, that's a whole nother level of,
it's big time.
So now let's talk about what's next.
All right, as far as what?
What you want to do, man? Like, you giving back? You working with the WNBA? Like, are you trying to be a Laker?
Man, hey,
because you got skills. I be seeing you out there balling, man. You don't take it easy on the kids. Like, you beat this one kid today. You gave him a whooping. You gave my ass whooping. Let's be honest. You gave my ass whooping today.
Look, man, they been challenging, man. They've been challenging me. So, hey, I gotta bring it. These kids, they want to see. No, man. What's next? Of course, one day I would love to open my own basketball training facility.
Okay.
And of course, yeah, train kids and do all that great stuff. But like the main thing is mentorship.
Yeah.
The main thing is mentorship. Like these kids, I believe that that's one of the greatest needs in our community. So why not to use what I know and what I love to do to provide mentorships,
right?
To these kids. So yeah, man. I want to build my own basketball training facility, and also have a space where these kids, they can learn things about morals and creating your vision, going after your dreams, and those type of things. So that's what I would love to do.
I love that, and I think you're on your way, but you're gonna have that. If I know you now, and after hearing your story, and after seeing you work, and like I've seen your Instagram and your basketball clinic. I've never been there, but I've seen the videos, and you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
But thank you for being that male figure that these kids out here need.
Yeah.
Because that's important. And I know you have kids of your own.
Yes, right? Sir. Yes, sir.
You have 2 daughters?
No, 3 daughters and 1 boy.
Wait, you have 3 daughters and 1 boy?
Yes, sir.
I did not know you had 4 kids.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought you had only 2 kids.
No, man, 4. 1 boy. My oldest kid is a boy, Jaden. He's 7.
Okay.
So he just started being into basketball. And then I have the oldest daughter, Nevaeh. She's 6. She started playing basketball. Well, all of them, man, they like basketball.
Well,
as soon as I get in the car, they're like, Daddy, where's the basketball? As soon as I get home, Daddy, basketball, So, yeah.
So wait, how old is your youngest?
My youngest, she's a year and a half.
Dang, so your oldest is 7. You have 4 kids.
Yeah.
You was one of those kids like, look, if we're going to have kids, we're going to have them all now.
Boom, 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 boom.
Wait, back to back. Let's do it all right now. Yeah. Get it over with.
Exactly. And I always knew, man, I always wanted 4.
Okay, so it's 4 your number?
That's four, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I think I'm good, man. I'm good. I mean, if you ask my wife, she'd be like, no, maybe 1 more. I'm like, I don't know.
She want more?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah, you know what?
I'm good, bro.
I have 2, and I was done after my daughter because she's the youngest, and that was 23 years ago.
Yeah.
No, seriously. When my daughter came out and I cut the umbilical cord, and I don't know if they always do that, but they had asked my wife at the time. They was like, "Do you want me to sew you up or whatever?" And I was like, "Yeah, sew her up."
Yeah.
But she was like, "No," and I was like, "Yeah." Like, we're
Get it
done
now.
No, because I had a boy, and she came. The moment they said it was a girl, I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm done. I got a boy, girl, cool. I'm good. I'm good.
Like, you got a boy and a girl.
I got a boy and a girl. I'm done."
Yeah.
Because like my buddy, doing that, used to work for Nike. He got 4 girls.
Wow.
He always wanted a boy. So he only has 4 girls because he kept trying. So after the 4th girl, he was like, you know what? I'm not trying no more.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying no more.
I have a friend that he had 9.
Yeah, see.
And he had 8 girls straight.
Yeah, see.
As soon as he got that boy, he said, that's it. We're done.
Yeah, but see, wow. See, that's dedication.
Yeah, you got to be dedicated. Yeah.
I don't care how many girls we're going to have. I want my boy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
My man was dedicated.
That is crazy. But no, I do see you doing great things, man, especially in this mentorship program. I'm glad you're a part of it. But I do see you open up your academy. Sky's the limit for you, man. I love that. I love you that you have that mindset. I love, again, that you are out here with these kids, with us and part of the team. I thank you for what you do every day. Even bringing the energy, man. Like, you inspire me. Like, honestly, I could be honest, and I know I mess with Fatima a lot, but you, Fatima, and Miss Green, you guys actually inspire me every day. Like, you actually make my job easy, and I thank you.
No, thank you, man. Thank you. You're a great leader, man. And
Don't say that. I didn't pay him.
man, every time.
I didn't pay him because they're gonna think I paid you to say that because of my show. Like I did not have him say that.
No, listen. No, man. We appreciate you as a lead mentor, and we're learning a lot from you, man. And you know, it's a really cool journey where we are right now.
No, it is. But that's that's the crazy thing because I got friends that always tell me like because they always tell me like Mike, why you don't accept compliments? And that's because I don't feel like I've done anything. Mm-hmm. Like I know what I'm doing. Like I know that I've accomplished a lot in my life. I'm not doubting that, especially from how I grew up and where I've been. I know that, and I'm very grateful. But as far as making an impact, because I want to do so much more. Like my vision is so big. Mm-hmm. Like you know how they say your vision and your dreams should scare the shit out of you.
Right.
Mine's is so big, like it really does scare me. Mm-hmm. But so what I've done so far, I feel like I haven't done anything yet. Mm-hmm. I haven't even came close to making an impact yet.
But you know what it is, Mike? This is what you got to do. All right. I know I'm on your podcast, man, but this is what you got to do. You have to take one day of the week where you just sit down and you're not doing anything.
But you
which already that's hard. That's hard for you. But wait.
Because I work on the weekends too.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Same thing with me too. And you just gotta look from that moment to the past. Everything that has happened, you know, and you gotta take those moments so that you can appreciate the journey. Because right now you like, let's go.
I get that, and you're right, and. You know, I got friends and mentors that tell me that, and 100% right. I need to learn. So that's one of my struggles. I need to learn how to just. I'm a patient person, but I do need to learn how to just sit back, relax, and appreciate the moment, like of what I've done and what I've accomplished.
You know what? Let me make it easy for you. Go to the DR, right next to the beach.
Don't tell me that.
Sit down.
I will catch a lift right now to the airport. I will.
Man, but no, man, you gotta take those moments, man, where you can just think about every great thing that has happened.
I know, and I will. Yeah. Maybe not today.
Yeah, I know that was
Friday.
Be not
I'm about to go and enjoy myself. Maybe go do something. But we are running out of time. But I want to thank you, man, Carlos, again. Appreciate you, man. I love working with you. Yeah. The journey is amazing, and I look forward to a longer journey with you and continue to make an impact in these kids' lives.
Yes, sir.
Where can they find you? Social media, about your academy. Let them know where they can contact you. You got something going on right now, right? As far as like academy or free camp or something.
Yeah. So we just did a free camp with AV Partners for Health.
Okay.
Yeah, we just did a free camp with them.
AVPH, those are my people over there.
Yeah, man, amazing people, man. Yeah. They're all about the community. You know, shout out to Shannon out there. My boy Easy, they're doing an amazing job out there. But for those that want to find me, they can find me on my Instagram on Carlos Johnson 05. All right, that's my personal Instagram. And the other one for my academy, for Lions Basketball Academy, is LBA_hoops. That's the other one that they can find me as well. LBA, Lion Basketball Academy _hoops. Okay. And the last one is www.lionsbasketballacademy.com.
Cool. Thanks again, brother.
Appreciate you, man.
man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
On that note, we out here, y'all.
Yep.